And
I almost was cut off.
oh, there it is. Ready?
Toast. Good Tuesday.
What a day. We're 2 minutes late starting. My fault. Mercury retrograde. Trying to move my furniture, just losing track of time. I'm having one of those, like, I'm so anxious and I've got such a swirl of energy that's kind of how that Virgo handles it, right? As I start shuffling around, as we talk about here on Astrology and Alchemy all the time. Guys, welcome.
I just want to add, when people say, Matt, you're 82, you don't look like you're 82, I say,
it's the wine and the blood.
Is this wine or is it something else?
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, I am 82.
I'm 72.
I don't know. I like to throw these numbers around.
I know. I love it. You guys, welcome. Welcome, Steph, Field Guide, Terry, Jackie, all of you from around the world, from Instagram, around the world, around YouTube. Oh, see, people, look at that. People calling you.
People.
Yeah. Matt, you're so popular.
I am. I'm modest too.
How can you be everywhere? I mean, there's just so much to go around.
It's actually just one of my kids wanting something. So
yeah. Well, and look,
I do a show.
Ruth said, I made it. I made it, Sarah. I made it, Matt. Made it with my coffee. There it is. And yeah, D, I too am rearranging furniture. That's how it is. You're live on Instagram. It's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube Paranormal Sarah, YouTube Paranormal Channel. And that's going to continue to expand, guys, as we work with additional networks. We've got friends all over that kind of want to continue to air the stream. And we just wanted to start it, you know, however many months ago it was, to see if it was something we would like to do. And it's had such a good feedback that we'll probably expand it. So you're going to continue to see it grow.
We're going to expand it.
From place
You're hearing this. This
to
is my same child trying to get a hold of any member of the family.
Oh, yeah, on any tablet, device, pager number 2, chat. Yeah, it's the story. It's you guys, as we discussed last week here on Astrology and Alchemy, Tuesday, September 28th, that's today, Moon in Cancer, and yesterday was Mercury retrograde in Libra. How many of you in the chat room have been having malfunctions, misfires, sparks, craziness? Anybody?
Over communicate during retrograde.
I've been asking people to show me, like from the Missouri.
Yeah, trust but verify. Always double check communications, and misunderstandings at a high point.
5:30, thought I was at 5 o'clock. Oh, no, it was at 5:03. Oh, I thought it was at 5:05. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's one of these, like, shoot, gosh dang it. And this really is going to be an issue. What, till October 15th? I think it goes till October 17th, October 18th. It's
I was going to say like the 28th, but maybe I'm.
Well, I remember thinking like, well, shoot. I'm traveling during it. You know, they say the big old don't travel. And I'm like, oh, look at me traveling state to state. Like, it's exactly what you shouldn't be doing. And I'm doing it. So go figure, whatever. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? But you guys, we have a lot to look into for the week ahead. And then it's the last week of September, which is hard to believe, but we are going to be welcoming in October. It's Halloween season. Witch season. We can get away with wearing stuff like this, which I've got in my Paranormal Sarah shop for sale, all kinds of cool things. Jackie says it's okay. Libra friends in crisis. And there's a lot of crisis going around, a lot of overdosing, suicides, shooting, stabbing, craziness, domestics, crazy. Venus and Scorpio.
You are right. October 18th. And my usually hello to my friend Macy, who gets upset if I don't acknowledge her.
October 18th. That's when it is, right? Yeah, it's the end of I'll be traveling to Kansas City in that time, and I'll be back and home safe, hopefully, by that time. So
my favorite month of the year is October.
I love October. I love the fall. I love coffee on the porch. I love the leaves. I love the cider. I love the pumpkins. I love soup. Butternut
Of
squash
course,
soup.
my fall in October is probably like your August in Minnesota, so it's not necessarily the same.
Yeah, we get snow at least once in October, which I'm not
Yeah,
ready for snow yet.
we're never. We'll still get we'll still get a week of like fall summer where it's like in the 90s in October. So yeah, it's not the same.
Day of the Dead, De las Muertes, Halloween, all sorts of autumn fun. Mental breakdowns, says Sarah. Yes, all of it.
I know
For
about that.
it's real.
I'm hanging on a thread, Sarah.
We're
I'm like on a
hanging
little
by
thread right now. So I
like a
totally.
hair in a biscuit, as they
Yep.
say. Say that next time someone says, "How you doing?" Say, "Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit," and watch their face kind of distort. It's really fun. Anyway, all
I
right,
may
guys.
next time somebody asks me that, I may actually start having a conversation with myself.
What?
Are we okay? I don't know. Are we okay? I don't know. Are we okay?
Are we?
I did
He
that
said,
once in a conference room. Like people that know that like screw with me. They said something about somebody made that. I was in a conference in a meeting, and someone mentioned something about a prison. And so just on my own, I'm like, this isn't like
did
a
he say
prison.
prison?
This isn't like a prison. There's no, and I stared at the wall and I'm just like, there's no scratching, no scratching, no scratching. And then like one person actually noticed me doing that and started laughing because they knew I was like totally like just effing with everybody else in the room. But yeah, I just like totally like doing that and I'm like staring at the wall going, no scratching, no
Yes.
scratching. So
That's the voices. That's not what they said. Yeah.
why I'm not a CEO because I do shit like that in meetings and stuff.
What was it? Just kidding. Yeah, I love it. And that's why I love you is the ability to do that, scare people. What was that? That's right. Scare and you are kind of one of those higher ups, so the fact that you would do that and probably did do that is why I think it's even funnier.
Yep. And I
Fly
have
on
a
the
dog freaking out. If you hear this weird whining in the background, it's one of my dogs.
sure.
So.
Okay though, right?
No, it's all good. Everything's
Okay.
good.
All
It's just
right,
chaos.
tomorrow,
My
tomorrow,
life is
tomorrow.
chaos. Total chaos all the time.
Total it is. It's well, and it's chaos right now. Someone said, "Kick Matt out of that meeting, man, being crazy." Did you get rest on Sunday? Anybody crazy? Get rest.
No, Mary, I'm in worse shape now than I was on Sunday, but it's all good. We're gonna power through this.
We're powering through this. But you guys, I don't want to get you too excited because this week ahead is going to be kind of crazy and exciting. So here we go. It starts tomorrow, Wednesday. Do 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 do. Wednesday. Wake up. Fantasies continue. Venus and Scorpio. People coming out of the woodwork, people from your past, things coming up and sneaking out up on you with Neptune and Pisces. This is, you know how I feel about Neptune and Pisces. So already I get a little nervous. But what do you see and what do you predict when
You
you
know how
think?
I feel about Venus and Scorpio. I don't know how to feel about Venus and Scorpio. Scorpio's kind of weird, you know. It's like that get you in my clutches, you know, the claws and all these things. Like it could be like this intense, like the greatest fantasy night of your life, or as I mentioned earlier, you could end up with your head in somebody's refrigerator. It could go really either way. So I always say Scorpio's intense. And so you got romance and intensity, which could be good, could be bad. Trying is always synergy.
I see affairs.
In
I
Neptune,
see
which is dreams. You know,
Epstein.
is it real? Is it not? In Pisces, which is home sign, introspective art. So I see this intensity having synergy with dreams that maybe aren't real. So yeah, I see this as this could go in a lot of different ways, but this is intense. This is I see this as romantic fantasies seeming to manifest, but are they real or are they not? So if people decide to act on those things and they're not, they've self-deceived themselves. This could like play out really poorly. So it's high risk, high reward in the romance bucket on Wednesday.
Intense is the word. High risk, high reward. You know, my dad is the Scorpio in my life. And, you know, I'm going to be seeing him in October. So I think about the feelings in that space where, like, he recently went to the doctor and I was like, oh, yeah, how'd it go? And he's like, oh, everything's great. That's a lie. He's not telling me anything. He's choosing not to tell me anything. And either I call ahead, I call over him, I call the doctor, and they're like, no, yeah, no, he's terminal, and we took him off the kidney donor list. So yeah, that's why you've not heard anything. And I'll be like, what? And I'll freak out and I'll cry and I'll be really sad and depressed and it'll be the end of the world and I'll just be la, la, la. Or like, it's or it's don't worry about it. I chose not to worry about it. No, everything's fine. Everything's great. These feelings, this all or nothing, life or death, Neptune and Pisces, don't overthink it, don't overfeel it, folklore. I think of the movie Big Fish with my dad, and just being in that realm of you start having these end of life grieving moments and learning that all the issues you had that you thought were lies actually aren't exaggerations, they're truths. But then the truths that you thought were real that defined you so importantly are actually dissolving. Like what? Like Neptune and Pisces, this is exploring the abyss with creativity, not fear.
And I see this as, the whole Venus and Scorpio, this could be like an incredible experience with your soulmate, or, even fantasy wise, like celebrity crush, or it could be misery with Kathy Bates, like smashing your ankle with a sledgehammer. It's like it could go in really, like it could be really, really good or really, really bad. But regardless, it's intense. And so that intensity could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But yeah.
Right. Right. That's exactly. It could be a really good thing. It could be a really bad thing. This is just one of those.
Choose wisely. Don't put yourself in situations that you could end up getting your ankle smashed by a sledgehammer by Kathy Bates.
Sledgehammer. And don't let Wednesday finish out too crazy, because that's not the only thing that shifts in the stars tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, after having this really kind of fantasy, crazy, wild, intense, emotional afternoon, as the sun goes down, we are looking at Sun in Libra trine Saturn in Aquarius.
Okay. First of all, I want to say hi to Katie, who's working while she's listening, but wanted to say hi in the chat. Again,
Appreciate that, Katie.
I acknowledge, we do this every week, but I acknowledge all this verbally because, as we've documented very much, I can't chat. So I feel like
he's not allowed.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to chat. So, I love Sun and Libra. I got a lot of Libra, even though I'm a Cap, I got a lot of Libra energy. So I resonate well with this. So trine is synergy. Saturn, I don't have a whole lot of nice things to say about Saturn. I feel it's, restrictions. It's the rings. It's the killjoy kind of dad. But in Aquarius, it's a weird. We have a lot of planets in weird signs right now, because Aquarius is the opposite kind of a Saturn. Aquarius is I'm going to think outside the box. I'm going to push the boundaries. I'm going to break down the boundaries. And Saturn is all about boundaries. So I view this as an opportunity to change the rules. So this is Sun, yourself, your outer self. In Libra, this very diplomatic, I call it soft power, is the best way I would describe Libra. So it's influence and getting things done by influencing others, not doing it yourself, with synergy with being able to change the rules. So this is people using influence to get others to change the rules and groundwork for things. So my warning to people is be on the lookout tomorrow. Make sure someone is not trying to influence you to change rules for their benefit.
Manipulation, baby.
Manipulation will be high tomorrow.
And that word, I know it does have a negative connotation. I don't often intend for it to, though. With manipulation, it's another way of how to navigate the yin, how to navigate earth and water emotion, how to navigate communicating with people in really intense spaces. Manipulation is how to use things to your benefit. As long as your benefit doesn't harm self or others, you can actually share goals and common goals and a united goal with those people around you. And you can manipulate the chaos of the environment to better you and your village. It's kind of that, you've got three different types of people: type that talk about people, type that talk about things, and the type that talk about ideas. And try and be the one that is talking about ideas. right? And in this space, just thinking, okay, if I need to manipulate, we need to manipulate air, we need to manipulate politics. That Saturn and Aquarius is that rules are changing. There's going to be mandates. What kind of business ideas and success do we need to be navigating together, and how can I help you do that? It's supporting each other and manipulating things in that way, building up like you would help a neighbor board up their home in a hurricane. It's kind of the same vibe.
So I have
So
repeat that, because I actually had a fourth one to add. I think that totally hits alchemy. So you have people that talk about, what were the three that you said?
people that talk about people, people that talk about things, and people that talk about ideas.
So ideas is air, things is earth, people is water, and then I would also say people that talk about actions would be fire. So
Right. Or like
there you go.
goals or
Yep.
success, doing, action. Yeah, what they're going to do. And that is too, listening to people's language is going to be really, really important, because people are going to be illustrating that fair balance. When I think Libra, I think of the judicial system, and how even today on my Facebook, I had shared the manipulation of your mind and the constructs of it, how to understand that in a positive way, because restrictions, rules, fairness, the desire for things to be just and to have vigilante justice, it's actually hypocritical, and it's not going to be serving. So kind of how to use that anger and compost it or recycle it in a healthy way.
Here's where I'd add, if you like look at your chart, your birth chart, to figure out which like elements are very strong. This kind of shows where you're like. I'm an earth air guy, and to be honest, communications on a lot about things and ideas. You're earth fire, so I would assume you're mostly about things and actions. It's just interesting. Somebody's very watery, which I am not. They'd be much more about like people focused, and so it's just very interesting to see how that alchemy plays out. And I will say, from what I've known from people, it really seems to correlate. The elements that are prominent in your chart will tend to be in your thinking, even if you do anything work wise when they do. And I know you on the psych side will see this too. There's a lot of like work models that do this like quad model of behavior. You know, they'll break things into 4 different buckets, and honestly, those 4 buckets you could put into earth, air, fire, water too. So it's just
That's exactly
it layers, but it's the same thing, just said in different ways.
And I love that work breakdown, by the way. And it does help if you're a manager trying not to micromanage, or you have someone you're trying to work with as an employee, teaching you how to be a leader or a follower, or just how to make that village work. Understanding personalities is a big one. So again, my cheeks just hurt as I look Thursday. What day are we on? That's still tomorrow. That's all tomorrow, Jackie.
Yeah.
It's already 20 minutes in. So this is like, get ready. Tomorrow I expect politics. I expect relationships. I expect things to be bubbling, intense emotion. Then
Keep
let's
your
move
head
into
out of
Thursday.
somebody's refrigerator.
Out of oven.
My biggest goal for you all is make sure your head doesn't end up in someone's fridge tomorrow.
Yeah, very important. And then Thursday, how does it end? Well, let's look. We look at the dominoes. He looked at it. He looked at it before he said it. Venus will be in Scorpio again, but it's squaring off with Jupiter in Aquarius. Boom, boom, boom. And these are retrograde planets, by the way, too. Jupiter and Saturn, and I believe Venus is still retrograde. So
at least it's square. At least it's square.
It's squaring off.
If it was trying, I would say your odds of your head ending up in someone's fridge is much higher. In this case, we have the emotional intensity that we've already covered. Square is an obstacle. So what is in the way is Jupiter is opportunity. So Jupiter is, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Partially why
means you're a real person.
This is partially why my nerves have been shot all bit. Like the dogs have been insane the last like 48 hours. So they're like going nuts over everything. So we have Jupiter is opportunity. So I always view it as like that car pulling up and the door opening and saying, hop on in. And the destination is the sign. So in which case Aquarius here, it's rebellion, it's changing rules. So in this case, you have emotional intensity being obstructed by or opposed by, or an obstacle of that is opportunity to change rules. So this is, to me, you have a intense relationship dynamic going in a certain way, romance dynamic going in a certain way. And this is almost like a Uranus type energy where I think you're going to get an opportunities curveball is going to pop up. So maybe the object of your affection is going to get some huge opportunity that they jump on, which totally changes your dynamic and how you viewed things and has you have like an oh shit moment. So I view this as a romantic bump in the road on Thursday.
Romantic bump in the road on Thursday. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? What is it going to be?
It's going to be because something really good's going to happen, but it's going to happen to the object of your affection. And it's going to be in a direction that's going to turn them away from you. So you're going to have like this, oh shit, this isn't good. Where in their case, they're going to be like all psyched. Like, maybe you have a budding relationship and they just get a huge job offer on the other side of the country. It's that kind of thing.
Gosh dang.
Like, oh, wow, it's great for them, but now this really sucks for our potential romance. Kind of
okay, this is going to be so interesting. Seeing how these pan out, guys, it's just it's both nerve-wracking and a little exciting, right, at the same time. So that is all just Thursday. My ritual suggestion is trust versus predict. That old NLP go-to, trust versus predict. And I think that is going to be important to remember. Trust is simply the ability to predict something. And Jupiter expanding, you're going to get more of whatever it is that you've had, but things are going to be intense again. So then what happens? The dominoes continue to move. Friday, October 1st. October 1st, 10/1/2021. Mercury in retrograde still in the sign of Libra, squaring off with Pluto in Capricorn.
I was going to add before we dive into this too, some of this also, another layer on this is how your own personal like natal chart falls into these. So if your Venus is in Scorpio and your Jupiter is in Aquarius, then what we're laying out right now is going to be like exactly aligned. Some of these other ones, if your natal like signs are maybe opposite or aligned, like it's going to add different layers to how this is actually going to play out for you. But what we're covering here is the general energy that's going on in the world. How it specifically impacts you will have a lot to do with your own signs and your own energy. So in this case, again, we got another square. So Mercury is communication, retrograde, that's always like miscommunication or impeded communication. In Libra, again, so soft power, this is communication to influence. I think this is particularly in Libra, this is where communications get misinterpreted. So you may be doing your soft power and they get the wrong idea and do the exact opposite of what you want them to do. Being opposed by Pluto, the last planet, it's the least personal planet. Pluto doesn't give a crap. It's doing big, profound changes that you have no control over in this Capricorn space, which is all achievement. The little goat climbing mountain after mountain after mountain. So I view this as you're trying to do this soft power influencing people and everything moves in the wrong direction for this. So this is your plans to achieve things through others are going to be completely thwarted on. Is this Friday? Yeah. So Friday's not you like whatever your plans are. If you're depending on other people to help manifest whatever plan you have on Friday, it's not going to work. The cards are stacked against you for that on Friday.
I think plan A, B, C. I put ritual suggestion. You're going to laugh at this, but I did poetry of the road less traveled. What do you think of that?
Repeat that again. Karma. Did you say karma of the road less traveled?
The poetry, the road less traveled.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always associate that with Gemini, but yeah, I could see how that would.
How you cope with like eccentric chaos, maybe? Yeah. I don't know. When you look at, guys, I don't know. Okay, then you've got Saturday.
Uranus is like that curveball that gets thrown into your plans. Right. And like Pluto's like the nuclear warhead that comes into your plans. So like, Uranus is the little like odd thing that happens. Maybe it rains on your wedding day, and Pluto is the Category 5 hurricane that comes in on your wedding day and like cancels and blows everything up. So when it's a Pluto thing that's squared, so Pluto's in your way, not aligned with you, in your way, I always view that as big things going on in the world are going to just totally like F up your plans.
They're going to F up your plans, he says. And I'm looking at this little website that kind of gives like really cool alchemy advice. It says, consider communication soured. Everyone will think they are right. Possibly.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at Saturday the 2nd, because this is going to be a okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Saturday. Everyone thinks they're right. Opinions crazy. Things going sour on Friday. And then Saturday, Venus will be in Scorpio.
Oh.
I know. Sextile Pluto and Capricorn. How do you feel about that?
This is one of those that, particularly that it's on a weekend. This is like one of those like I'd love to be like a fly on the wall in like a club or a bar or something, because I always view sextile as remove obstacles. So in this case, we have romantic intensity, and we have obstacles being removed for this. Pluto, again, big, huge, profound changes in the realm of success and accomplishment. So I view this as the object of your romantic intensity. The whole universe will move and align and remove all obstacles to that, and you will be able to achieve your goal. So Saturday, the energies will be primed for you to have the great night of your life, or once again, have your head end up in someone's fridge. So choose very wisely what you do on Saturday, because energies will align romantically, but with a lot of intensity. And that intensity could be something positive, or it could be something really effing creepy.
So I think about emotional boundaries. The ritual suggestion in this kind of a space is going to be ritual boundaries. It's going to be the heart. It's going to be red, orange, yellow. It's going to be orange and green, I would say, chakras. And I mean, as far as the shadow work goes, good times, bad decisions.
I think D had a great thing on it. This is a phenomenal. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal. This is, well, I will say it is phenomenal opportunity and energy for one night stands on Saturday, but choose wisely, because this could go from the extreme of the greatest night of your life to extreme again of ending up in someone's fridge. It's
Someone's fridge, guys.
choose. Because people can be intensely into you for really good things, and people could be intensely into you for really effing creepy things. And so just make sure you know, to the best of your ability, who you're having that adventure with on Saturday, because it could be a really awesome thing, or it could be really, really bad.
Well, and here it's still, oh gosh. And I'm looking ahead, and it's one of these where I already know people are going to be struggling in psychic spaces, and they're going to be needing all of this advice. And here we are. This is an aspect that when we look at it, I mean, we just see.
I'm laughing at Steph saying, hopefully it's not both, but I'm going to say, if my head's going to end up in a fridge, at least let have the good thing happen first, and then my head end up being in the fridge, then have it be all bad. So,
Well, I mean, there's that,
that's
right?
That's putting at least a little bit of a positive spin on a bad result.
How does it go? Sunday the 3rd. Sunday the 3rd. Sunday the 3rd. Mercury still retrograde in Libra. Trine Jupiter in Aquarius.
So again, soft power, soft, these are both air signs. So influence, but since it's in retrograde, it's that soft power is going to be misinterpreted. So what you're trying to hint and get people to do, they're going to interpret it the wrong way. And then that is going to be trying with an opportunity to change the rules. So this is like, if you want to change the rules one way, you're going to like hint and try to influence people, and they're going to do it like the exact opposite. So this is, I see this as like some frustration. So my advice to everybody is don't use the soft power. Don't use that Libra energy. Be very direct. You know, say what you mean what you say. Be more direct. Don't try to influence. It's going to get misinterpreted, and people are going to make changes probably in the wrong direction from what you want. So you might as well just be really clear about things.
That's really good advice. You know what I mean? Be direct. Don't play games. Don't try and go, I don't know. Maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe because that person's going to show up.
Yeah. Aries is like my opposite sign, you know, because it's kind of square. It's opposite Libra and square Cap. But this is going to be one of those rare times when I'm going to say you want to be much more like an Aries right now. You just want to just lay it out there and say exactly what you mean.
Hey, hey, I don't like you like that. I just want a foot massage. That's it. Right? Like, I don't know. I think about boundaries often. I think about needing to be clear. This is be very aware that you do not create luck. You do not. That doesn't work that way. That's not how magic works. We talk about this in the Gypsy tribe. This is not how it works. Be aware. So then you have Monday, October 4th, 2021, everybody, with a crazy weekend. Crazy weekend. Emotions, dreams, desires, fantasies, desperation in the air, eccentric energies, one night stand energy in the air. What's going to happen? And we don't just necessarily mean romantically. It could be with a life decision. Fuck it, I'm going to buy the truck, sell the house, do the things. It could be something like that. So
like,
tone it
that's
down.
just Leonard. You want to keep your head out of the fridge, and you want to keep other body parts out of somebody's crock pot.
You get this stuff. Okay, the 4th. I copy and paste it because you're not going to believe it. This is Monday, so this tells us already what's going to happen, right? We try and say, "Oh, I'm psychic and everything is awesome and I know everything," but then it's really astrology, and then we just see the person's personality and how it all unfolds. Monday. The moon's in Virgo, so that's good. But it's opposite Neptune in Pisces. Yeah. Neptune in Pisces.
Your favorite.
Ugh. What do you think?
So you got emotions, and you know, I always view Virgo as that very eyes dotted, eyes dotted, T's crossed. For some reason, I always like to flip those. Analytical, picky. You know, I would always, if I had to hire like an accountant, I would want them to be a Virgo. It's very, very detailed. So this is emotionally detailed, emotionally very on top of things. Opposite is not. I think when you normally would think of the word opposition, that's what you would see square. That's in your path. What opposite in astrology means is it's like this tension. They kind of complete each other. So it's this kind of magnetism drawing, but then also they're so opposite that there can be a little bit of repelling there as well. It's this weird kind of dynamic. So I use opposite as tension. So you have this very analytical, picky, emotional state having tension with your dreams, kind of fantasies, ideas in this Pisces, introspective, can be self-delusional. So I see this tension between kind of doing this emotional inventory of where you stand emotionally versus your dreams and ideals. And so, you know, do I feel good about where I'm at? Do I feel bad about where I'm at? This kind of looking in the mirror and do you like what you see kind of energy from Monday.
Neptune and Pisces. I feel like this is going to be maybe even, you know, Virgo, we can get a little OCD. And because we ride behind the Leo, that ego, that confidence, and that pride of needing it to be perfect and being delusional about that perfection. I kind of feel like that is going to be showing its ugly head in this space if you're not careful. Don't expect things to be perfect. This is if a loved one of yours does have a bad day, they do go off the deep end, they do end up messaging that person, whatever, you are able to intercede, is that the right word? And talk about it. to go through the details before you make a huge life risk, reward, change, that you check in with other people in your life that it might be affecting, because everything we do affects everyone around us. And then we are able to be like, hey, let's talk about this. And not go crazy and emotional and off the deep end about it.
Steph
Right?
didn't like my Monday advice. I'm sorry. This is why I don't do it
Take
ahead
it
of time.
back,
I just respond to what Sarah throws out there. But I'm going to add too, as even though I don't have a lot of Virgo energy in my own personal chart, having a lot of perfectionist tendencies, I'll have to be on guard for Monday, because I see this as something that, at least for me, could be very destructive, in that I see this as a combo of your emotions wanting to desire things to be perfect, having tension with your dreams of how you feel reality should be. And, nothing ever lines up exactly how you wish it would be. And so you don't want to get into this like emotional, like death spiral of doing that analytical inventory and seeing all the things that you come up short on, and then becoming kind of despondent over it. And that's kind of one of the risks. Maybe it's just the way I'm wired, but I would see that as one of the risks I would have on Monday for this. So just be careful of that. You may be doing a lot of this whole inventory of, this is where I thought I would be at my life at this time, and here's where I'm at. Oh shit, look at all these things that are wrong. And it can start snowballing and turn into its own kind of, that's the thing I think you hint at, Sarah, when you talk about the scariness about Neptune and Pisces. That's the scary thing about it, is
the spiral.
You can spiral into this whole dreamy way, how you think things should be versus how they are, and it can become a very like depressing space.
Pros and cons, best and worst in your life areas. The death spiral. Avoid the snowball. That's good. That's a good reminder. It really is. Because I have a feeling people are going to be feeling that, especially after this week. So mentally, just kind of keep yourself in check on that.
Yeah.
Now, then it keeps moving. What's going to happen? Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. I love Tuesdays. Though, I'll be honest. Is it already going to be a Tuesday?
We've gone quick. We were so far behind. I'm glitching. We talked about this on the Sunday night show. I'm having this weird glitching thing. It's happening again. So hopefully it's not like.
Is it where we're like in a wormhole? That's okay. We'll take questions for the last minutes.
If anyone knows Doki Doki Literature Club, like I'm wondering now if like you pause, is it going to be like Matt with like half his face?
Okay. Next Tuesday. It'll be a total week gone by. Crazy growth, crazy risk and reward, crazy impulse. Hopefully a lot of salt magic, protection, pros and cons, writing things down, cleaning, introspection, listening, meditation, growth, catalyst. Make your cocoons. Stay in. I'm going to be
ground on Sunday, because you may that may get you, if you get in a good balanced pace on Sunday, assuming you kept your head out of somebody's fridge. That should help protect you from Monday with that whole deep introspection thing. If you have a good stable spot, you know what I'm saying, Sarah?
Yeah.
Like, try to equilibrate Sunday before that like weird perfectionist energy starts kicking you on Monday.
Yeah, before Monday's craziness. I'm adding that to my Gypsy Tribe suggestions so that people get those little additives of like, oh yeah, that is a good idea. We need to make sure and do that and put that in our magic together so that we can support each other. It's going to be a rough day this next Monday. But then Tuesday, it'll be the 5th. Is that right? It will be. It's going to be the 5th. Okay. Write it down. Moon in Libra. And it's going to be the very, 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 very last little sliver before it's a new moon, just the very next day. So next Tuesday, get ready. It'll be the last little sliver of that crescent as it slips away into darkness in Libra. And it's trine Saturn in Aquarius. What do you think when you see that?
So again, trine is synergy. So we have this emotional state and this soft power having synergy with this weird combo that I've mentioned before about Saturn being all about rules, but Aquarius about breaking the rules. So I view that combo as changing the rules. So this is good synergy of emotions in this whole diplomatic soft power space, allowing you to be able to change rules. So if there's something you want to change in your life on Tuesday, you will have good tailwinds to be able to make those changes through influencing others. So whereas earlier, I forget which day it was that I said it was a bad, like everything was going to backfire on you. So wait, if there's something you're going to do, I think it was Thursday or Friday, wait till Tuesday, because you're going to have much more positive energy to be able to have that influence to change things in the way that you want to change.
What is the slope? Man, Matt, I just had a moment. Remember how we were talking about the XY axis of alchemy?
Yeah, I have this whole like chart idea in my head of
Slope. Remember the idea? What is the equation for slope? Is it like
rise
n equals?
versus run. So
That's going to be the magic for next Tuesday. That new moon, that's the magic. That's the key.
So I want to add real quick. So what we're thinking about is I'm probably going to lose some folks, but I'm hoping some folks will follow me on this. I'm going to write this out. But if you think the old like XY axis, so I'm thinking if you have yin internal energy on the bottom and yang kind of the extroverted energy on the top, and then on the other end you have on the left taking things away versus adding things. You have these 4 quadrants for the 4 elements. So like I would say that in the yin space, earth is internal energy and you're actually adding. It's material. You're adding to your plate. Water erodes, so it's yin energy, but it's actually taking things away. It's emotionally taking what is inside you and sharing that with others. Externally, the same thing. Fire consumes. So when you actually do an action, you are actually, if you think about options, air, think again, Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled. Air is about the options. When you go to fire and choose, you choose an option which eliminates another one. So it's taking, so I was doing this XY axis of you introverted, extroverted versus many options versus eliminating options. And so you have these quadrants where the 4 elements fall into. I hope that makes sense. I probably lost people, but if you even think of like it, the other thing on Earth, it could be like internal thoughts and things. So if you have that internal thought, that's like an add. Once you put that into water and share that with someone, that's out. That's like off of you. So I hope that makes sense. It like makes sense to me, but maybe I'm just wired weird.
No. It makes perfect sense. I'm kind of having one of those epiphanies where I see alchemy very much in a language of math, numbers and math. It's such a universal language. It's what I wanted ASL to be, and it's not, and it's math, and I hate math. But sometimes I see these moments where I'm like, oh my goodness.
Let me add one more thing real quick. I want to map this out then, but I'm almost thinking in the Claro space. This is only for the minor cards then. But if you think of the aces near the middle, as you go out towards the kings, I think you go farther out in those those axes. So you can actually like plot almost like tarot and meanings of the tarot things on that as well, is kind of where it is in my head.
Plot your future with.
Ace is the initial opportunity. So you have that opportunity in air, you have that opportunity in water. The 10 or, the king, however you want to word it, is kind of the completion of that cycle. So you're going farther out on those axes. So you can almost like plot the cards out that way as well and make a grid.
You can make the grid. And this is kind of one of those in that space of predictability and magic and how to use that energy. Not manipulation in a bad way, but manipulation in a good way. If you see the energy on the outside and you see the energy on the inside, I know I always bring this every week, guys. It very much kind of becomes something like this, but now we are seeing it as an axis, and it's able to do this in different ways where you lay over another and you have a slope, rise equals run versus rise equals run, and you have an equation that equals another equation. You can begin to see what energy needs to happen, and you go, oh, I need to up my water. Oh, I need to minimize my fire. Oh, I need to be thinking more or grounding more. Oh, okay. It allows you to actually see the variables in a very different way.
Katie's funny. She said, I forgot about the Z-axis. I actually think that's where the major arcana come in, but I haven't grabbed my mind around how to make that work in the model yet. So,
well, hold on, Katie. Or you want to make that work.
I actually how to work that in.
Hold on, Katie. I love the major arcana space. Where where in the world? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? What? I'm having a
I'm sorry,
moment.
while she's looking, I'm trying the best to keep up with the chat. The chat has been awesome tonight, so I think I've like lost
The chat
something.
has been awesome tonight.
If something was directed at me and I missed it, I totally apologize. It just means that I missed it in here and I wasn't like blowing you off.
Okay, I'm having a major, not like a major meltdown, but I'm having like a major moment where I'm like, where is this? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I am having a moment because I'm looking right at it. Katie.
But I want to actually experiment with this of actually like graphing like tarot stuff on that chart and kind of seeing, like, I think you could do like a,
We know this chart.
Wow, yeah, that's the Kabbalah.
Kabbalah, the tree of life, right, guys? But when we add this up, those lines, there's 22 lines. How about that? It ends up being the 22 major pathways to the 22 arcana. And this lines up with all of our chakras. This ends up lining up and minimizing to all of the alchemy. This ends up lining up with the 2, the 4, and the 12. Yes, she does. And what I really love about this is if you're Christian, say that you're not this or that or the other. Man, if you want to go to the first Sephiroth, the crown, your divine will to create infinite light. Talk about how this sounds familiar. Yeha Asher, Yeha I am that I am. Genesis 1:3. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. That's the self awareness, like the visible light spectrum, observer effect. And all of it is once I see it in that way, that numerology, the chakras, the colors, the alchemy, that it starts at 2, then goes to 4, then goes to 12, cardinal, mutable. I mean, it's math. You can do the tarot card. You can do every tarot deck ever, forever and always. And religion is just a nice story that helps you follow along. That's what I love about it, is that all the religions are kind of telling the same story, and it's math that's making it make sense. But it's, I mean, as far as like prove Hansel and Gretel existed, and it's like, well, I mean, eventually proof comes down to like latitude and longitude and variables, but like it comes through language. It happens through a process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what people are wanting. I don't know what they're expecting, you know?
I could do a long show on this, and we've talked offline about my views of things, and maybe eventually I'll write this all down, but I'm afraid it'll like get me committed because like it makes total sense to me, but I know some people would hear this and be like, oh my god,
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I go into like that whole chaos magic space. I always view it as kind of like hacking the matrix. Is kind of
It is hacking the matrix.
and but there is definitely a I'm not saying the model is the same as that movie,
the Matrix,
but I think there are some parallels in that are very,
yeah.
And that's where I actually think like the astrology, it's not that the astrology causes things. I think that's where people get screwed up. It's not the position of the planets create these things, but I almost feel it's like a tell, almost like that lady in the red dress in the Matrix, and that
what's really gonna,
those positions help show you what the machinery behind the scenes is moving to put certain things in place.
Would the vase have broken if I hadn't told you? You know, he's like, what? At that moment, the suggestion, almost I would say suggestion, but the power of that awareness. Awareness is that whole philosophical space where people get stuck up on fate and destiny. Is that if you know about it, and if someone's all omniscient, omnipotent, and this, then it's this removal of.
I go back to another analogy here in case the Matrix thing threw people off is because we're in this time of year right now, so it's perfect. I use this analogy all the time, but we're in this time of year when the leaves change. Fall is coming. and the weather's going to get colder. But the leaves changing and falling off the trees does not make it colder. One is a sign of the other. It's not a cause. And that's how I view kind of the planet. Like, these are signs of some of the other energies that are going behind the scenes, but they are not actually the cause of those energies going on behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Does make sense.
Hope it does. I gave a very Cliff Notes view of something that is a lot more complicated in my brain. So hopefully that it didn't like lose people here.
No. I think that, and I had someone send me a private message asking like the ritual suggestions. When I say that, what do we mean? We mean, what do we mean by that, Matt?
I missed this. What was
ritual
the question?
Suggestion. What do you mean when you mean ritual suggestion for like how to use that day?
You know what? Go with yours, because I think this is a space that resonates with you more than me. So I will add to it, but go ahead and lead with your stuff, and then I'll just add anything I need to add.
Well, I think about it as that math equation where in a mental health space, I use astrology as a guiding tool for me to say, okay, I might have feelings of this today. And if I do feel that move or that nudge or that influence, I want to use it as a reminder that I'm deeply connected, not that I'm broken or lost. And so for me, I will see, for example, Pluto moving, a planet that indicates that there's going to be some deep thinking, deep investment, and maybe even a big life shift as we've seen it happening in the last few months. And then someone comes up and says, hey, just want to let you know if you ever wanted to move out here again, that offer still stands. You can come out here and move and do it. And it's like, oh, wait, that's right. I don't need to get caught up in this moment. The universe told me this was going to happen today. Oh my gosh, look at that. Here it is. Yeah. And it also told me that this would be an opportunity that I should think about, but that I shouldn't say anything right away. And so, and where I might normally go, wow, thanks so much, and feel really awkward about saying no. Wow. How about that? The universe told me an amazing thing was going to come my way today. I want to go home and think about this. Let me go home and talk about it, think about it, and get back to you. That you actually had a moment to prepare in your mind. Like, what might this be? How might I use this energy? And it's all a ritual suggestion for a preparation of the day. So I might put on my lipstick or wear a necklace or put a rock in my pocket if I've been told by the universe today might be a very emotional day that you might feel nervous or anxious. So I might prepare with some grounding energy or earth energy that is just going to help me, if needed, get through the day. Does that make sense?
Yep. I'm going to give mine, and I'm going to kind of speak for you a little bit here. So please correct me if I'm wrong. So, like Sarah mentioned, like magic a lot. I view it as like energy or energy work. It's kind of like semantics, but it's just how you use the energy around you. But one difference, and this is kind of, I operate more in that chaos space, which we don't have the space right now to do like a deep dive on what, chaos magic is. But I see this as Sarah looks at these alignments and tries to catch the tailwinds to go ahead and do things energetically that will help her manifest what she wants to do. Whereas on my head, and this is why I think we work well together, but because we have an overlap, but our styles are very different. My head's always in hacking the matrix. So how can so whereas she might look for where she has the tailwinds to help her do things, I look for where there's almost those energetic gaps where I can much more be able to assert my power and manifest my will to change the matrix, so to speak, or hack the matrix. And so it's the same thing. It's just, and we're looking at the same thing. It's just our approach are different. So that's where I think you might look more for like rituals of the day, where I look more for where energy is favorable versus where energy is unfavorable. So when the energy is unfavorable for me, I'll just like lay low. When it's favorably, that's when I might try to like assert myself.
Influence. Chaos magic. I love, I see it as the ability to, well, I do. I see it like Fantasia. I see it like Mickey Mouse moving moving things from a wand. You really are exerting energy and force, potential to kinetic, and kind of changing and shifting the way things move around you, like water, like ripples. I love it. I think it's beautiful. And that ritual suggestion, it doesn't have to be, you can, like Matt does or like I do, when I'm sending it out to my Gypsy Tribe members or posting it daily on my social media, I don't ever want it to be, I try and make it general so that it's not specific and so that you can use it however you want and that you can use it and design it as needed, which I think it should be.
And I'll just add, it's all using energy in these 4 spaces. So whether you want to call it, some people will like label it mad, but people that don't even work in this space will tell you that words are important. And so we could label that air magic, but basically it's the words you use help manifest your reality, even in your mind. It's important. Same thing with actions, same things with emotions. So it's just what you want to call it, but it's all using energy in different ways. And so, you have your way of approaching it. I have my way of approaching it, but it's all trying to align things to where things are going to be favorable to basically accomplishing what we want to accomplish in the world is really what it boils down to.
True. Belief. It doesn't have to be complicated at all.
Yeah.
It can be exactly just a simple way to connect, give you purpose. So, yeah, and that's it. You guys, that's it. We made it. It's 10:01. So technically, it's been a full hour. But you guys know, if you have any questions, you can find us at the Facebook / Astrology and Alchemy. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you are watching us right now. You can direct message us, but also I'm going to put in the chat room the direct ways to get a hold of Mr. Matt Slozer if you want to send him an email, or myself. That way you can get a hold of us as well. We do readings, we do charts. We would love to help you figure out any questions you have. And Matt, what else? What else am I missing?
We got some big things coming. So, look up the Astrology and Alchemy with Sarah and Matt on Facebook. Autumn Astrology on Facebook is the page I just started. We got some big things coming. We're going to expand where we kind of broadcast this out to, and we have some other like seminars and some ideas that we have going forward to kind of build off some of the things that we're just sharing here. But again, I'll add, a lot of this is semantics. It's people calling the same thing different names, and then some of those labels, which again is really kind of air magic, but those labels cause reactions with different people, but it's all the same kind of thing. Whether it's a mantra, prayer, manifestation, spell, positive self-talk, that's all in the air space. It's all kind of the same thing. It's just you're calling it different stuff.
Kind of the same thing. It's all kind of the same thing. And if you guys do feel like you were raised Christian or you were raised Wiccan and you want to explore Muslim or you want to explore pagan, hey, that's what being alive, and if you're somewhere that still allows for religious freedom, the ability to do that, the age of information is upon us. And there's mentors all over and around in the community that we can help answer any questions. And there's no judgment. It's really for just growth and the ability to be your best version of yourself. And that's what we try and do here every Tuesday on Astrology and Alchemy. And so you guys be sure and check us here, the family that is growing, and join us next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Have a good night, everybody.